And the title of my presentation is From Data to Decisions, Leveraging Whiskey for Climate Resilient HydroMet Services. Before I start with my presentation, a very short introduction. Okay, because I guess I'm not so well known here. So my name is Schlaeger. I'm actually background civil engineer and focused on hydraulic engineering, water resources management, and water quality simulation. Working now since 2002 for Kisters, so quite a long time. Did a lot of projects over this time, and now heading today the enterprise solutions, which is the Hydro solution and the whiskey solution. Maybe about Kisters, yeah, we are a company, our headquarters is in Germany. It was founded in Germany in 1962. Since 1960, we were working in HydroMet. Whiskey was developed in 1986, was the first client, still a client since then. We have a lot of different subsidiaries in Europe, in North America, South America, India, China, Australia, and New Zealand. About 7 or close to 800 staff. Now, we are working in different areas. You see energy, HydroMet, engineering, the classical engineering. HydroMet is the international part, and here we are dealing with hardware, from hardware to software to dissemination on the web. Finally. Okay, that's the short introduction, and now let's start. Climate resilience, and yeah, I think this is clear to all of us. Climate resilience needs reliable data, because climate change increases the frequency, intensity of floods, droughts, any weather extremes, and so far we need data. Yeah, timely, high-quality data is a foundation for all the services related to resilient HydroMet. And many agencies, actually worldwide, still face issues like fragmented systems. Manual data handling is needed, delayed or even prevented access to actionable insights, and gaps in data availability, gaps in data quality and forecasting capacity. So, the data journey from sensor to decision, what you know, we start with the collection, sensors, stations, from satellites, external EPS, but also still manual data retrievals, validation, and QA/QC is very important step to get clean data, for filtering out errors, outliers, to do data corrections on the raw data. Then storaging, accessing the data should be a centralized system, secure system. It should be ideally a relational database because it's got a lot of advantages. And then analysis, forecasting to do more with the data. For example, by linking any models, hydrological models to it, to maintain guidelines, thresholds, to create alerts, and finally disseminate the data. Dashboards maybe for decision makers, Whiskey Web for the public, or any reports or open data services. And here now I would like, and of course all must be orchestrated very smoothly. That's also part of the process. Now I would like to talk a bit about the Kisters environmental data platform solutions like Hydro, like Whiskey. Maybe first of all, it's, as I said, it's very long on the market since the 80s. Over 50 countries, several hundreds of customers worldwide work with the system. Maybe just that you have an impression, this is in Europe. We see this all. The red dots show where whiskey is used as the national archive, a national solution. Is from Iceland to Serbia, from Portugal to Estonia. And the green ones are all, let's say, regional, federal states, water boards, hydropower companies, but also small consulting engineers and universities. If you go to Australia, Africa, Asia, you see here you have installations, Hydra and Whiskey. You see a cluster definitely in Australia and New Zealand, where we have a lot of Hydra and Whiskey solutions. Same in Africa, where we have maybe Hydra, but also some Whiskey solutions. And Southeast Asia is a big market, very many projects we just recently started there. And then finally, the other market then definitely is North America. Canada and the US, but also here we go further to the south, Central America and also South America, where we are getting more and more clients. Okay, that's about now where we are, what we are doing, and now a bit more about the technical part. And what is Whiskey? Now I focus more on Whiskey. It combines actually data integration, data harmonization, data validation, visualization, reporting, and also modeling. It has a lot of several specialist tools from the hydrological side, for instance, rating curve development, but also water quality, sample data management, biological observation, so it supports a full taxonomic tree. There's a user roles and rights concept, so not that every user must necessarily see all the data. Maybe some data is administrator, other is just guest. And it's encryption access controls. And the system is designed for long-term sustainability and standards compliance, which is integrated in the system. What are so typical features that empower HydroMet agencies? It's maybe starting with the first one, automated multi-source data ingestion, data from many different sources, sensors, loggers, radars, satellites. We have a telemetry system included, a task scheduler for doing automated tasks, importing, exporting data, but also field inspections. There's also a tool that you can go to the field in offline mode, you enter any data and being online again, and it goes directly into the Whiskey system. Any LIMS data from laboratories goes in. And of course, data migration is part of a usually implementation project that we get all the legacy data into the system. Validation. Here we have a validation tool which allows you to use any rules, to combine these rules, to set up tasks, and to put these tasks into workflows. There's a standard set of rules, but you can also, as a rule generator, it's Python-based, that you can create your own rules to add these to the, let's say, to the standard rules. Then running the rules, they will then also change, modify quality codes of each data value. They will write remarks depending on the results of your validation checks. And these results can then be seen on maps, for instance, by color codes, or on heat maps, that you also have a timely idea when errors or issues happen on the data. Forecasting, hydrological forecasting, and here within larger projects in the recent 5 years, I would say, we developed so-called Kisters analytics, which can sit on top of Whiskey or also on top of Hydra for doing advanced analytics on the data. We have a workflow manager which allows to put small tasks together. This is also very much Python-based, so if someone likes scripting, Python-based, and this tool. Real-time optimization is included. You can integrate any third-party models, so that you can do now forecast analysis, and we have ensemble representation within Whiskey that you can see also the results from your model runs in such bandwidth of data, and automatically percentiles are then calculated. And then finally, dashboards, reports, how to represent the data. Dashboards for showing what is the healthiness of the system, that you see what are the processes which are running, import processes, or any calculation processes. You can create reports. This is a report from an Irish system which is generated once per hour. It shows the flood situation in Ireland once per hour. Or you can also have other, representation of the data for internal usage or for external usage. Internal, of course, has some more features, more specific tools than the external ones. The customer alerts, threshold management, there is an alarm management tool also part of the system for event-triggered warnings and alerts, maybe on threshold exceedances, but also of a failure of a server could also be triggered alarm here. Different alarm times are supported. Template can be generated to send alarm reports, alarm voice messages, and so on. Okay, and finally, of course, it must be scalable. That it can be deal with large systems like a national archive, but also with small systems like maybe a basin level implementation. It is horizontally, vertically scalable. That's it, from simple to complex. can be have a single or several application servers or just on a laptop. Yeah, and you have systems from 1 user to 1,000 users, and you can, yeah, there's no limit for dealing with stations, parameters, and you can add new data types. So you can also then start with a small solution and adding maybe a sample data management later on, biological observation and so on. Yeah, and I will show you, underline this with some projects, real world projects. And the first is this one, this quite a very old one because they are live since 2005. This is the National Archive for Environmental Data Management Analysis in England. Yeah? Was one of our largest first non-German speaking clients. And they have today, yeah, these are the largest, they have up to 1,000 users on the system, 600 concurrent users, 70,000 stations. And when we migrated them, we migrated 140 individual systems into one single business system. Yeah? And that is also what I heard this morning from breaking up the silos. Yeah? Breaking up the silos, this was also a hurdle in this project because people who were working on their data now had suddenly to share their data with the whole country. Yeah, they were sitting on their basin, they were boss of their data, but now they had to share the data. Yeah? This was a big step also for the Environment Agency at that time. Another project we are very proud of, it's now a very new project, is Environment and Climate Change Canada. It's the National Archive for all their water quality data from sensors, from water quality samples, from biological observations, and from satellites, from remote sensing. This goes all in one system. It's we are here subcontracting with Esri. Esri is our subcontractor. And yeah, we also combined 24 separate systems into one single WSGI system. Yeah, that's still ongoing. We started 2 years ago, and it's a 5 years project. Very quickly, this is a European Flood Awareness System. This is hosted in our Kisters cloud. Yeah, and we get data from 15 European data providers. They send us 25,000 files per day, 1.5 million records. And it was a big challenge for us to do the validation on the data and also the calculation of the standard statistics. Yeah, this is still running on our cloud. Now, a very important project in India, very important because it's the holy river, Ganga River, and this is a water quality project measuring the water quality on automated stations. It's a very important project, but it's a very small system. So it's just running all on one computer and one user only. It's also involved that we visit the stations every second week. Every second week, each station must be visited, and we use all the field visit software to check the maintenance, to check the calibration routines. This is then part of the overall validation of the data. And then we create such reports as you see there, on hourly basis, from hourly to 1 yearly basis. Nice project. And now also another one nice is an end-to-end project with from the hardware to final web representations in Oman. This is the Sultanate, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources. And this was to monitor all the rainfall and water flow stations in the system. So we brought in the hardware, the software, WSGI, and also on top the WSGI Web, and we're working it together as a partner, which we do often, that we work with partners in also there's an automated ad hoc rainfall reporting, so they get rainfall reports in frequent intervals, but can also create ad hoc. So if there's an exceedance, then they get directly informed. Another project in Vietnam is a flood forecast system. Please guess the data hub, but maybe because of time I skip this. And then a project, yeah, we did last years in Tanzania with TANESCO. It's a flood early warning system for Julius Nyerere hydropower dam. And the related catchment, and also here we brought in the hardware, plus then deployment of the telemetry system, deployment of WSGI as a central data management system, and WSGI Web for visualizing the data. Another project with Zambia, ZMD in Zambia, it is the establishment of an integrated water resource management information system, and again, hardware, from the hardware to the final web representation of the data, so 200 automated rainfall, so moisture monitoring stations, whiskey then again for managing all the data, and installation and software information support on site. There's a quote from Chris Mutau, the senior engineer at CMD, which was nice for us. Let it for you to read. Okay, and finally, how do we get the system into organization? And here we have phase deployment usually. Start small, but scale smart. So as I said, we have a lot of countries where we did it. It's also useful to have an early success in a project if we start in a smaller scale, and then also by flexible licensing or infrastructure options, you can then go up the later stage. It is tailored to national infrastructure, so maybe the last sentence, we never have a one-size-fits-all. Because we adapt the system always to the needs. Functional-wise, infrastructure-wise, that it exactly matches. Training, manuals, long-term capacity building, we have offered extensive training programs from our staff, but also from partners on-site, online, but on-site. With documentation, and the last national step and power to work together with us. It's going to do here in South Africa. And that is what our philosophy since the beginning. When we started with whiskey in 1986, we see us not as a vendor, we see us as a partner because we never go away. We stay always with our, if our partners want, we stay with them, and want to get everything running. So we have very long-standing customer relationships, much more than 20 years. Okay, and then finally, the system is very flexible, customizable, and we are compliant with many standards and also with WMO, WIS, of course, with different areas, also water and LJs and MQTT for streaming data, all parts of the system. Good, and then I'm at the end. Sorry. Climate resilience starts with smart data management. I think this is clear to everyone. We want to help to transform raw data into reliable decisions. We have a lot of platforms proven. It's very much tailored, and we really, as I said, philosophy is long-term partnership. And we also are happy to work more in Africa with partners in Africa. We also want to intensify this. And if you have more questions or are interested in, we have a booth, please visit us. Okay, thank you.